Hi everyone, today I'm going to be playing Legends of Andor, Chada Thorn, which is a new two-player game that's set in the Legends of Andor storyline, and as you can see from the box, it is only available in German at the moment, and so hopefully this isn't going to make too much glare on the camera, but I have kind of made my makeshift pasted up English version based on translations from, who was it? Olaf Slomp on Board Game Geek. You can go to the files section of the Chada Thorn page and you can find his files for translating the rules and things and what you need to do to the cards. There's also a solo expansion which I might cover in the future, and he's translated that as well. I've fiddled about with it a little bit and tried to make it roughly look like the cards looked before, but I am not very good at doing this kind of graphical thing, so this is the best that we've got at the moment. So, what's going on in Chada Thorn? Well, it's set after the first big expansion to Andor, which hasn't actually come out in English yet, so I'm jumping ahead in the story a little bit because I'm waiting for that this year. Excited about that. So, what is going on? They went north to do all sorts of things, I don't know what yet, but in this game, they were travelling back to Andor, which has been attacked in their absence. On the way, their ship, the Aldebaran, was caught in a violent storm and capsized near towering cliffs on an unknown island. They were barely conscious in the icy water, but they struggled to reach the coast as quick as they could because they felt something threatening approaching. And that is the backdrop to this game. And as in Andor, we have these lovely cards that are going to explain new rules to us and the story. And again, these have kind of been stickered up the best that I could do it. I will say, for the bits that I have translated myself, I don't speak German, and Google Translate does its best, but it doesn't really know everything. So apologies for any strange mistakes I might have made. I'm sure anyone speaking German will find something terrible that I've done. But here we go. So the first quest is the Spiky Cliffs, and we have these cards that have the storyline and the rules on them. For each quest, you will have a start card, which we know where we start and we know where we finish on this final card here, and we're trying to get to this campsite. Each quest will have a number of different cards that you shuffle up. This first quest only has two, so these two are always going to come out, but just in a different order. Later on, there's more and more cards for each quest. So these are covered up until we reach the end of the previous card, and then we'll reveal what we find later on. So let's look at this first quest, the introduction to the Spiky Cliffs. Okay, Chada Thorn had reached one of the steep cliffs. In the distance, they saw the familiar forked tip of the Silver Mountains. No doubt they were stranded on Silberland. An evil tale was told on this northern part of the island, a tale of a curse that would never allow anyone here to leave again. But Chada Thorn were needed in Andor. They could not stay here, so they ventured south. Would they manage to cross the island, climb the Wall Mountains, and reach the Silver Mountain? There, their friends, the Silver Dwarves, could give them a ship so they could sail home. They had to hurry because they sensed something ominous was drawing near. Okay, that's the story. That's what we are doing. We are trying to reach the campsite over there from these steep cliffs from the coast that we managed to reach after our ship capsized. And so the start of some little rules here. We have the start fields. They are here. Chada Thorn start on their respective spaces there. And to complete the adventure, they need to end up on these two spaces. So that's the first card. And the second card is going to show off some other new symbols that we'll kind of come to as we get through the game. So the other one to mention is the curse here begins there, and we might find out more about that later. So how do we play the game? Well, the game recommends in the first adventure that you start off with some friend cards. They go behind here, but each hero has 3 different cards and 3 curses behind each card that will come into play later. We recommend Chada starts, so let's get started. There are 3 main things that you can do with a hero card. On your turn, you need to activate one of the cards that's in the front row. The 3 actions that you can do are, you can use the ability of your card, so I could use this for Chada and she would receive some arrows from the equipment deck, and after the card's been used, it goes to the back of the column that it came from and can't be used until we've done all of the cards in front of it. So we can use it for its ability there in the text. we can use it for movement. So we can choose one of these movement values. And as you can see on the map, we've got different values to get to a certain thing. So we could just spend 2 movement here and we could end up on this first space. If you end your movement on a space, you will get the willpower or have to pay willpower. If someone is already on a space though, if she did move there, then Thorn could completely ignore the number on this space and go straight to this or this space. But you have to stop on these red spaces if they are uncovered. The third thing you can do is fight. This is your strength for activating that card. There are enemies that will come into play. I'll just grab one randomly from the mist deck. You see, they have a value that needs to be beaten in combat. So Chada on her own couldn't fight something with 7 strength without some arrows perhaps, or if he's standing adjacent, Thorn can help. There are also the friends that have a special ability and nothing else, and curse cards which will try and end the game for us. So we have to pay attention to one little thing here as well. So it says on the first stage here, we've placed 3 mist cards above this card as the current deck. There are a lot of ways we can lose the game. So if we would ever move the curse and it catches up with us or goes past us, we lose. So we cannot move the curse until we've reached the end of this card, basically. If we would ever need to draw a mist card, and there are none in the current deck, there are only 3 to start with, remember? So if we ever need to draw one and there aren't any there, we lose the game. We basically need to hurry up along this card and hope to get more cards later, because more cards will come from here and we can add them on if we manage to leave some in the deck as we go. So let's get started then. So Chada's first turn. So we either need to move 1, 4, or 5 really. So 1 would get her a willpower point. She starts off with 2. So you can see if we pick this card for its movement here, it has 2 movement. We can do that. No effects happen at all. We just move the card to the back. For 3 movement, we need to pay a willpower point. She starts off with 2. And for 5 movement, we would need to flip the card over and put it at the back. And also draw a mist card from the deck, the current deck. And we don't really want to do that. I think that we will go small and let's use this card here for 2 movement. So we don't have to do anything extra. We're just using the 2 movement part of the card. It goes to the back of this column here, just as it was. And she can move 2 movement points, but 2 isn't enough to get to this next stage. So she will just make it to there. And because she ended her movement on this space, she will gain a willpower point. So she now has 3. And that has revealed Grenolin the Bard, which can be used in a future turn. So over to Thorn. What's he going to do? He needs at least 3 movement to be able to move, perhaps 4, so he can block off this space here and Chada could just go past it. So for 3 movements, he would either need to flip this card and draw a mist card, pay 2 willpower, pay 1 willpower. But you see the abilities that you're skipping are better and better. 4 movement would be nice, but the only way he gets 4 movement is move the curse. We cannot do that at all. We would lose the game. We could flip this and draw a fog card, but that's kind of wasting a movement. I think he'll just use 3 movement. Let's use this card here. So 3 movement from this card. All you have to do is pay a willpower from his starting 2. So this will go to the back here, and he has revealed one of his curse cards that we will get to soon. But it's okay the first time they come to the front, but after that they're going to start doing bad things. So he got 3 movement points there. So because this is covered, we ignore the movement points that were on here, and he can go to this space. So back to Chada. On her turn, she could spend 1 movement to get to that campsite and free it up for Thorn. And that could be done with this. That might be worth doing. I think 2 movement points here. Let's put this at the back. She gets 2 movement, and so she can come straight to here. This only costs 2, but if this is uncovered, you have to stop here. So she needs to pay a willpower because she ended her turn there, but that's okay because she's got 3. and she has brought one of her curse cards to the front as well. So over to Thorn. He needs, if he gets one movement, he gets to take the Hourglass from the equipment deck, which could be a nice bit of equipment, or he could spend 3 movement and just go straight onwards. I think let's do 2 movements with this card here. So we're going to have to flip this over for 2 movements. So it goes to its rainy side now, which isn't as good. So we can flip that over and put it at the back. He's got 2 movement points. So he's going to spend those to go here. So that's just 1 movement point he's used. But stopping here means he gets the Hourglass card from the equipment deck. And let's just grab that. Now it goes to the back of the row that he activated to get the card. But let's see what it does first. So activating this, which is all you can do, you flip a curse card that's at the front of its card row for you or an adjacent hero back to its resting side and place it at the end of its row. Remove the Hourglass from play. So he can do that once this Hourglass reaches the front of this column here. And basically, when the curse cards get activated, they get flipped over and put to the back, which is okay the first time, but then when they come again, you're going to have to pick something bad to do. The Hourglass will let you flip a curse card that's already been brought to the front and flipped over. It will let you flip it back to how it was originally, to the safe side. Okay, so that was Thorn's turn. What will Chada do? She needs at least 2 movement points to keep going, perhaps even 5. But the only way she can generate 5 is by moving the curse figure, which we cannot do. So I think she will generate 3 movement here. So she needs to flip this card of hers. She's got 3 movement points. And that's all she needs to do. So she can go here. And nothing else happens, but as you can see, she is coming close to having to activate a curse card. Thorn's turn. Now, to get 3 movement here, he would have to flip this card and draw a mist card. But you can see Merrick's special ability here, move your figure 1 field forward, ignoring the step number shown, which for a space that needs a bigger amount of movement like this is a good thing. So I think he will activate Merrick and move 1 field forward here to there. There's no bonus there, but if we get here, the curse is hiding it a little bit, but if somebody stops their movement there, they will get another will point, but if they get there, we can reveal the next card and find out what's happening. So let's put Merrick at the back there. Chada's turn, and it is time to either activate a curse or get a willpower point from the bard. I think let's activate this curse so she can get moving later. So you see, at the start of the game, you put it with the resting side up. This is the resting side. First time it comes to the front of the row, it's flipped to its awakened side and put back to the end. So there we go. That was her whole move. Nothing happens. It's just that curse has been awakened and is ready to strike. And what will happen when we have to activate this curse is we choose between drawing a mist card and moving the curse figure once, or moving the curse figure twice. And both of those at the moment are impossible because we would lose the game. Thorn's turn. What will he do? Now, he could receive Orwyn's hammer. He's already in the lead here. He would like a movement point. But what would the hammer get him? Let's have a look at this hammer. See, this has got 12 strength, so this is going to be great for fighting people. Attack an enemy after that, move the curse figure 2 fields ahead, or remove the hammer from play. So I don't think that's that necessary yet. So he could move 3 up, and maybe he'll need the hammer once he gets one of these enemies. I think let's move him 3 spaces up. So he is going to flip over, and come back here. So you'll see that's his other side there. With his 3 movements, he gets to the end here, so something else will happen. But we need to take the top mist card, and what has he found? He's found a gore, so not very strong. If he fights this, he's going to get a willpower, but if it's removed from play in any other way, he's not going to get that willpower. That goes to the back of this column here, and since he has reached this red space here, which he has to stop on, we can reveal the next stage of the map. And here we go. So it says right here, place 2 mist cards above this card as the current deck, and place the card a castaway nearby. And you can see here, we are going to come across a castaway. And now we have 2 current decks. Basically, if you're on this card and you need to draw mist cards, you draw from here. If somebody is still on this card and needs to draw, they draw from here. Once both players are on here, we combine the decks, and as long as there were cards in the previous deck still, we get to draw an extra one from the pile and basically get more time, more opportunities to draw these mist cards. So that was Thorn's turn. But that could have been a bad idea, because now he's uncovered this 3 space for Chada. So I think, so 4 movement would get her there and get her a willpower point. Or she could just do 3 movement and then maybe 4 later. I think, yeah, let's do 3 movement there. She can either do 3 movement and pay a willpower, or she can use her ability to just move a step forward, but then the card will be flipped. I don't think that would be too bad a thing. So let's move the figure 1 field forward. So we'd flip this over and put it at the back, and she moves 3 points to there. And that's okay, because we want to keep them together, really. And Thorn isn't going to be able to move next round. So let's activate this curse card. So we flip it over. This one would make us either draw a mist card or move the curse figure 1 space forward, which is still not an option. It's mist cards all the way for now. So that's all that happens on his turn. Now, Chada, this row here is completely off limits for her, because it needs us to move the curse figure, which we cannot do. So that card at the moment is unavailable. So she can get a willpower point, or what I think I'm going to do is activate this curse card here, because we need to get her moving, really. So that's her turn. She didn't move any. Thorn. Now, do we want him to move? I think since the only movement Chada can do is 3, it would make sense to move him off here, because otherwise she's going to waste a lot of it here. So I think let's see if we can move him a little bit. Now, I get to choose which path I want to take. If I take this path, I will have to move through this space and move the curse figure 1 space forward, which, unless Chada gets moving, is not going to be a great option for us, but it's kind of a shortcut to doing it. If I go this way, however, which is the way I'm probably going to go, then it would probably be better. But how will I do this? To move 2, I have to move the curse figure, which I don't want to do. I could receive the storm shield. Let's just have a quick look at what that does. I could have a wineskin, take anywhere from 1 to 5 steps, remove from play if you take more than 1 step. And then, what was it? The storm shield. That's this. Move your figure 1 field forward, ignoring the step number on the field. If you cross a road with the curse head symbols on, you may ignore them. So that could be interesting. I could go up this way and ignore them, but I would then have to remove this from play. I don't think I'm going to do either of those options. Let's see then. I can't do much. I think I'm going to have to activate a curse card, and perhaps this one. Yes, let's activate this one and put it at the back. So I've still not moved out of the way of this space. So I think while Chada is waiting, she will activate Grenolin the Bard and get a willpower point. Back to Thorn. So now he can get the 2 movement. He'll have to take a missed card, but he can get the 2 movement that he needs. And I think that's what he's going to do. So he gets 2 movements, so let's move his figure there. He gets to flip this back to its sunny side, but he needs to take a missed card. So there we go. So it's back to the strong side, but he takes a missed card, and it is Quella the Sorceress. So she's quite weak, but I would imagine her ability is quite strong if it happens. And that was Thorn's turn. Chada, now she can move. So 3 movement means she gets to flip this back, but she has to take a missed card. And 3 movement is going to put her here, but she has to take a missed card. And it is Gorain, Flying Gore. So we're getting some enemies in the rows now. The rows are getting a bit bigger, but now we have freedom to do 1 curse movement, and that is it. Okay, I think Thorn is going to activate this card here and grab one of the wineskins for later. And he has to pay a willpower to do this, but he gets to flip this back to its sunny side. So that goes at the back of the row, and the wineskin goes underneath that. And so now he has to face this gore sooner or later, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem for him. And Chada could even do it. So now, do we want to activate one of these curse cards here? Because we can move the curse figure 1 space now. Or do we want to just move it along? I think we could activate this, because we can choose to give up a willpower for this. So let's put that back, and we can pay 1 willpower. Over to Thorn, and I think he will activate this curse card, so he has some attack to get rid of this gore. Chada, she needs, let's see, she could get 3 movement to go this way and go the faster way, or she could grab some arrows or the amulet. Let's see, she can get, for moving the curse figure though, she could move 5, which would move her 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that's a big jump. Let's do that. So she's going to have to pay a willpower and move the curse figure. Oh dear. And this goes to the back, but she has generated 5 movement points, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. So she's going to gain a willpower point back. So she has 2. But now she's going to have to face the Gorain at some point. Now my turn. I really need to catch up. Let's see, if I reveal this curse card, I can't pay willpower. I could reveal willpower, but it's just kind of shuffling the cards in front of each other. I could move 3, which would get me a willpower point, but I can't pay a willpower to actually get there. Since we're both on this space now, I should move the previous cards on here, and because there were cards on the previous card, I can take 1 from the deck and place it there. So I think I will go for the 5 movements. So that is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, and gain a willpower. But I'm going to have to flip this card over and take another missed card. Oh dear, Citron. So I'm definitely going to need Chada's help to defeat that. 13 strength. Over to Chada. So now we have a little bit of movement for the curses, but she's going to activate this one that hasn't been activated yet. Goes to the back of the row, and that frees up this card for her to move next round, hopefully. Thorn will activate this curse and move the curse figure 1 space forward to there, and place this at the back of his rows here. So I think Chada is going to do a bit of fighting. So we do the fight action, so we look at the strength in the corner of her card there. she can fight a creature that's in front of her or another player. So she could attack this Gore for me, because she has 5 strength, or she could attack this Goraine. I think she's just going to do that. Now you can, if you want to, just activate the enemy. So shuffle all the cards from one of your rows, place them back in random order, repeat for your other 2 rows, then Goraine is removed from play. You can do it like that, but you won't receive the willpower. So I think she's going to attack with this hero card. This Goraine is defeated because its strength is only 2, and she gains 2 willpower. So now she has quite a bit, but she's going to need it as we move through all these -1 spaces. Now over to Thorn's quite huge collection of cards. He is going to do the same. He is going to attack with 4 strength. This Gore, which is gone, and he gains a willpower for it. Okay, we have a lot of curses now. I think Chada will activate this curse and pay a willpower, because she has 4. Thorn will play the Hourglass and flip this curse card back to its resting side and put it at the back of this row. And we remove the Hourglass from play. Now Chada is going to use this card to receive arrows, because we are going to need something to defeat this sea troll with a value of 13, and arrows provide 9. Thorn will activate this card here for 2 movement. So nothing special coming from the card there. And 2 movement will skip him past here, so because he isn't stopping there, he doesn't need to spend the willpower. But moving over this track means you have to spend a willpower either way. So he is spending 1 of his 2. But this space means that he gains, in the row that he just activated, so this one here, he gains a castaway. He's found a castaway here by the coast. And what we do here is flip the card over and place it at the end of the row. I think Chada will activate this curse card and pay another willpower point. So that goes to the back of here. And we're working our way to be able to take out that huge troll. Thorn can activate his wineskin to move 1 step, because he has to do something. He can't act either way, he's got to move. So let's use the wineskin to move 1 step. And he has to pay a willpower for ending there, so now he has none. And removed from play if you took more than 1 step. He only took 1. So that's where he is. And now Chada has some catching up to do. So I think she is going to activate this for 3 movement, flip it over, but now we have arrows at the front. So soon we'll be able to attack that troll. So 3 movements, she's going to go 1, 2, 3, has to stop there, has to pay a willpower for going over that road, so she now has 1. Also, because Thorn reached the end space, we can reveal the next part of the map, and we can see what awaits us there. So for Thorn's turn, he will activate this curse card, so it flips over and goes to the back of the row. Chada will activate Grenolin and earn a willpower point. So now for Thorn's turn, he is going to attack. So he has strength 5 to attack this troll, which isn't enough. But as in Andor, we can invite our friends to help us, so we can ask Chada to help. She has to activate a card in the front of one of her rows as well. So we have 5 strength from Thorn, and Chada's arrows give us 9 strength, which is more than enough to defeat this sea troll. So the arrows are removed from play when they are used. And Thorn's card will just go to the back here. The sea troll is removed, and we get 2 willpower to be split as we wish, because both of us contributed. I think since Thorn has none, he will just take the 2. So now we have 2 each. Chada doesn't have much choice here. She has to activate a curse card, and so I think she will activate this one and take a mist card from the deck. What's she found? Another Gore. Thorn needs to activate a curse, I think, and he will pay a willpower point to get rid of that. Over to Chada. I think she will use 2 movement here. So this gets flipped over to its sunny side and goes back. And she has 2 movements, so 1, 2. She needs to pay a willpower there and a willpower for ending her turn here. So that is both of her points gone. Thorn will move 1 point here, and this gets to flip back to its normal side. But he has to pay 1 for moving through that space. So that's all of his willpower gone as well. Since we're now both on this card, we can grab the card that was left from the previous one, and we get to add 1 from the deck. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards on here now. So we still have to be very careful. And the curse figure moves along this straight line always. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces we could move him. I think Chada will activate this curse, and let's move the curse figure 1 space forward. Thorn will activate Merrick, so he gets to move 1 field forward, ignoring the step number shown. So he's there now. Chada will activate this card here in the middle, and she will get 2 movement points. So this is going to go to the back. And she will move 1, 2, ending her movement there and getting a willpower. Thorn, let's see, he will get some help from Liam the Castaway and grab a willpower point. I think the time has come. Chada needs to activate this sooner or later. So we either move the curse twice or a missed card and a curse. Let's move the curse figure twice. So it's gaining on us. Something ominous is drawing close. The story said so. Here is Thorn, and he will use his wineskin to take 1 step, which means he doesn't need to discard it because he's only taking 1 step, and stopping there means he gets another willpower point. Chada will now activate this card for 3 movement points, so she gets to turn it over, but she needs to pay a willpower. That's that. And that's flipped to its sunny side, and 3 movement points gets her to here. So we are getting closer to the campfire. Thorn's not in a great spot here. He is on spaces surrounded by willpower though, so I think he will activate this card here and spend a willpower rather than anything else. And that's going to free up that card there. Chada will activate Grenolin, so she will gain a willpower point. Thorn, he will use this card just for its 2 movement, I think. And so he is going to go 1, 2 and gain a willpower. And to get access to this card, Chada is going to activate this. And she can either take an enemy or move the curse figure. Let's take an enemy. So what she found? She has found Crumb the Witchmaster. Only got strength 3, so we should be able to defeat him. He takes, or we can activate him, and he removes the top mist card from play. Thorn has to keep activating these curses, so I think he will activate this one and move the curse figure 1 more space. So it's gaining ground. Chada is going to go for 4 movements, so she is going to need to move the curse figure as well. So I think we need to hold off on that for a while. So the curse figure is now there. And it would overtake us getting to there, actually. So it can't move again. But she gets 4 movements and ends up there. Let's see. What will Thorn do? Now, he could just do 3 movement and get ahead of Chada, or he could do the 5 movement, and then he would be covering up the campsite, and perhaps Chada can get right to the next card. I think he'll just move 3, so he needs to pay a willpower. Let's move this to the back, and he will jump ahead there. So Chada doesn't need 3 to get there. I think we might as well activate Grenolin and gain a willpower point. Thorn needs to activate a curse again, so I think he's going to activate this one and take a mist card. He has found a snake. Only has 1 strength and doesn't even give willpower. It's just in the way. Chada needs to activate a curse, so this one is impossible because we cannot move the figure again. And so I think she'll activate this one and pay a willpower. Now for my turn, I am going to attack the gore that's in front of Chada. I can do this because I'm adjacent to her. So I'm going to use my 5 strength. This goes to the back. And I can take out this gore and earn myself a willpower point. And I did that because both of Chada's rows here were going to end up with enemies, and she can't activate this curse card here. So taking this out has freed up her rows now. I think Chada will activate a curse, and she will take a mist card and put it at the back of this row. It's another gore. And she can't fight that because it has 3 strength, but we can deal with it at some point. Thorn's turn, he will activate this curse card and give up a willpower. Chada's turn, she is going to attack Crumb the Witchmaster, and she has 2 strength, but I am going to support her with Liam's help because he has a strength there. So he will go to the back, she will go to the back here, and Crumb is taken out. And we have a willpower that can go to either of us. Now we have to think, we are going to spend a lot of willpower here moving to the next card. So, who should get it? I think Thorn's going to be moving next, so he should get the willpower. So it's his turn. He will use the wineskin since he only has to move 1. Oh dear, messy. The cards are creeping closer and closer to me every time I do that. So he goes there and he has to spend a willpower. And because he's here, we would reveal this, but we know it's there. So we place 3 mist cards above this card as the current deck. For Chada's turn, I think she will play this card to receive arrows. Thorn, I don't think we want him moving off this space just yet because he's covering up the cost for Chada, and she doesn't have much willpower, so it would be nice for her to not have to pay that. In terms of me though, I need willpower to be able to move onwards because both of us are going to have to pay that because it's on the road, not a space. I think let's activate my middle card here and flip it over to get 2 willpower points. And now Chada will activate Grenolin and he gives her a willpower. Thorn will activate this curse and pay a willpower to do so. And Chada will pay a willpower to activate this curse. Thorn is going to attack the sorceress here with this card. She only has 1 strength, so she can go away and earn him 2 willpower. I think Chada is going to move at last, so 3 movements. She flips that over, and she is now adjacent again. And we still can't move the curse figure though. It's really tying us up a little bit. Thorn will activate this curse and pay a willpower because he has a little pile of it at the moment. And he really needs to stall so that Chada can get past him. I think Chada is going to have to activate this curse here. And take the last miss card here, which is a shame because it means we're not going to get any extra. So Flying Gore goes on this huge row. And now Thorn is going to use this and take out the gore that's at the front of this row. And he's going to get a willpower for doing that. Chada can now move. She needs 2 movement points, which luckily is what this gives her. And she has to spend a willpower point, however, to move over this space here. But now she's on this card at last. Now Thorn can use Merrick to move 1 field forward, which is this space here. So he has to pay 1 for moving over there and 1 for ending his movement there. So that's 2 of his 4. Chada will now have to activate one of her curses. So I think she'll activate this one and move the curse figure 1 space. Thorn will spend a willpower point and move that to the back. Chada will spend 3 movement, so she flips this over and she's going to have to take a missed card. And she's going to end up there. So what does she get? Kentar, Ken Villar's daughter. All Chada's curse cards are moved to the front and then Kentar is removed from play if you want to activate her. But she's got these arrows here, 9 and 9. So that could be quite a nice little combo. Thorn will just move 1 step along and he gets to flip this back to its nice side. And he is now there. Over to Chada. She is going to activate this curse and she will move the curse figure 1 space forward. Now let's try this for Thorn. He is going to activate Merrick, so he gets to move 1 field forward. And he is actually going to skip ahead to this space here. But the curse figure must be moved 2 spaces. And it can't be moved much further. Chada is going to activate this card for 3 movement, so it has to be flipped over. But her 3 movement is going to move her 1, 2, 3, and she doesn't have to pay that because she didn't stop on it. Thorn will pay 1 willpower and get rid of this curse card. We'll put it at the back. Chada will activate her arrows, and it has 9 strength. Removed from play, but so is Kentar, who had 9 strength, and Chada will get a willpower. Thorn's turn, and he is going to activate this card to get 2 willpower points and flip that over. And to be honest, I'm just really stalling because Chada needs to catch up a little bit. So Chada will activate this curse and pay a willpower. Thorn will get rid of this curse and pay a willpower. Chada will gain a willpower point from Grenolin's ability. Thorn will receive a willpower point. Chada will move 2. And as you can see, this space is blocked off. So 1, 2, she needs to pay a willpower to move over there, which she has. And she has reached her destination because Thorn was stalling on this space that she would get stuck on. And so it comes to Thorn's turn, and he will activate Merrick the Cartographer and move 1 step forward. And there we go. We still had missed cards left in the pile, and the curse is a few steps behind us, but we have made it to the campsite. Now, the reason that I stalled with Thorn there was because if he'd reached the campsite as soon as he could, he would have got these tokens. And then, when it comes to his turn, instead of doing any actions, because he's already reached his destination, he would discard one of these campfire tokens. And if it comes to his turn and he can't discard a campfire token, we lose the game. So I knew that Chada didn't have quite enough moves to be able to get there. And the main thing was stalling here to stop this space that you get stuck on. So Chada was able to skip past that and we got to the end. And we have finished the Spiky Cliffs adventure. And the next is the Stormy Meadows. And I am going to get back on the internet and finish translating the story part, so I can play that myself. And if you're interested, I'm sure I would do another episode on Legends of Andor, Chada and Thorn. So I think this is a great two-player game and a great way to keep expanding Andor. I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. I'll see you again for another video. Bye.